Well, hi everyone. We're really excited to be here with you today and have a special subject to share with you. And it's the subject and concept of grow sessions, which is one of the premier executive coaching models that fits network marketing so well. Robert and I have been using it with our teams and sharing with our teams for over a decade now. And today, Robin's going to share it with you. So I'm going to kind of bow out and pass the turn the camera over and the next part to Robin.
Okay, well, thank you, Gregory. So I want to start out with the word, yeah, of our role as upline, as sponsors, as leaders. And one of our significant roles is to coach our people. Now, a lot of you have never been a professional coach. I have, but most have not. And many years ago, Gregory came to an event with me of one of the programs I was certified in many years ago. And like you said, it is the most used coaching model for multinational executives around the world. And Gregory sat there and went, "Oh, this is perfect for our business." And so we started using it. And I want to go into what the origin of the word coach is before I jump in, because it's quite fascinating. And I was actually sharing it wrong. And I went to ChatGPT and and I asked, it actually, the word coach, when you think about the word coach and think about, okay, 15th century Hungary, what kind of coaches were available in that time in the world? It was actually a stagecoach. And so the definition of coach originated from the 15th century, and it was to convey a valued person from where they are to where they want to be. So please be thinking about this in relationship to your role as a sponsor, as an upline, as a leader. Of our job is to support people to get from where they are to where they want to be. It's not where we want them to be, where we think they could be, where we need them to be, but where do they want to go? And many of you know my story. When I started out, I had no intention of building a business, so I was a customer. So where I was and where I wanted to go was I wanted to learn about the product and get great results. Well, as many of us know, as we get involved over time, our desires of where we want to go may change. And so it's really important to stay in touch with people, because I'm not the only one that it changed. And if many of you think about that, where you started and where what you want now has probably changed. So the origin of the word is quite fascinating. So let's get into the grow model a little bit. The company's name is Inside Out Development. I had the privilege of working with one of the creators of this model. His name is Alan Fine. He's one of the most brilliant coaches I've ever come across and one of the best listeners I've ever met. He and Stephen Covey, I've been very, very blessed to be mentored by some of the masters out there. And, it's what's so wonderful about this model is it's really, really simple. And like Gregory said, anybody can do this. So it's a duplicatable system that no matter what your background is, you can actually become a great coach. So let's see. I want to go through the acronym of the word grow. And then we're going to pull up the model. And just so everyone knows, you can find this model in Live Younger Success under the Business Basics tab, and it just says Grow Model. So before we bring it up, I want to share what the acronym is. GROW. G is a goal. It's a SMART goal. And we all know about SMART goals, but I'm just going to make sure, we and here we go. It's specific, meaningful, agreed to, realistic, and time phased. And so when I do this with people, the time phase part is I pick, let's say I'm coaching you from today, and where do you want to be a month from now? What is your goal? What is your SMART goal? And then as we go through the process, we will check back in and see, is that goal still realistic? Because many times it's not, but you don't know until you get into it. So G is for goal. R is for reality. Reality means, what's going on right now. So that's when I pull up people's back office. We take a look at where they are and where they want to go. I also ask a bunch of questions. And in the model, it has the questions to ask, which makes it really easy. You're not limited to this. You don't need to ask exactly these questions. But, many times the numbers in the back office really don't express what's going on. Someone may have a pipeline full and the popcorn is just starting to pop. So things are really exciting. Other times it could be different. So, reality, we want to look at where they are, what's going on currently. Then, O, I like to call O options, obstacles, and opportunities. That's where we get into a brainstorming session. And I ask the person being coached, what else could you be doing right now that's going to help you achieve your goal that's a month from now? And they share a bunch of ideas. And after they've shared for a while, then I'll ask, are you open to hearing some ideas from me? While I'm going through the session with them, I'm taking notes and I'm coming up with ideas at the same time. So then I'll share some of my ideas. And then we'll take a look at, are there any obstacles, things that could get in the way of them achieving what they really, really want? And it could be, oh, I don't have enough time, or blah, blah, blah. It could be a variety of things. And so then we take a look at how are you going to overcome those obstacles? And then we finally get to way forward. And way forward is very simple. It's what are you willing to commit to do? What are the action items that you are committing to get to that desired outcome, that goal you identified in the G? And so that is the process. So let's bring it up.
Yeah, let me bring it up. And while I'm bringing it up, I want to say a couple of things. Number one, this does not replace a getting started training. This is not what you do with a brand new brand partner. You want to get them started. You want to do an onboarding call, a planning session, but this is something that you could do on a monthly follow-up basis. So let me go ahead and share my screen and find. Okay, and here we are. When you go to Live Younger Success in the Business Basics section, you scroll down to the Grow Coaching Model. It's right here, and we've uploaded a revised version. I'm going to click on that, and it'll pop open and turn it back over to Robin.
So this is a place for you to write down who the session is with. I have Gregory calls me his binder babe. I have a binder that's alphabetized, and I put these in there, and I put who's it with, who the coach is, and we always recommend that if you're doing the grow session with someone that you did not personally sponsor, have their sponsor on with you. That's really, really important so they know what you're doing with their person, and then they can be supportive too. Now, sometimes they're not able to be on and you can record it and send it to them, but please include them. It's really important. And put the date. And so and Greggy did a beautiful job making it look good. And if you go online and you search for Grow Model, you'll see this wonderful graphic. There's lots of different versions out there, but here's the questions. It's really simple. You go through the questions. Now, what happens when you're going through the process is it doesn't always go GROW. There are many times when people will jump right into reality, and it's okay. You want to make sure you always get back to that goal, and it's really clean and clear and solid in what they want to accomplish between now and a month from now. And it could be a rank, it could be an income, but it has to be something that they have control of. We can't control other people. So it's what are you going to accomplish?
So I just want to add, if you are jumping around, that's the other thing I was going to say. It's not necessarily a linear process, but it is a sequential process. And when people jump around, if you start talking about goals and they start talking about, oh, I broke my leg or my dog's got to take to you write down the realities. You take notes, but it may be more like a game of ping pong because you're moving around, but you're going to go through this process in a sequential basis.
Yes. And taking notes is really, really important. Gregory puts, he takes a blank sheet of paper and makes it into four quadrants, puts a vertical and horizontal line, and he puts GROW and takes notes in each section. I take notes on this page and on the back of it because many times there's a lot more than will fit in that little section. Uh, and taking notes is crucial for this. And so we start out with the SMART goal. What is the goal you have for your business in the next month? And remember, we're doing it on a monthly basis. It has to be time phased to be a SMART goal. And we found that a month and doing these sessions works really well. And then asking, what are the consequences if you do not reach this goal? So let's say someone has to make a certain amount of money. The consequence is, they can't pay their mortgage or their rent or their car payment. It's important to know that information. So now we jump into the process itself and taking a look at, what's going on currently. So asking people, and again, if anybody can do this, that's what's so beautiful about it. It is a duplicatable system that makes our business so powerful. So if even though someone has never had a background in coaching, this guides people step by step. Briefly, what's happening? What's going on in your business right now? You know, um, and you want to revisit, last month's goal if you did a session with them last month, but have them talk for a while, and again, be taking notes, and then ask people, what have you tried so far? Like, let's say you had a session before. What have you tried? Maybe something didn't work. Maybe they went to an event and it was a dud. No one showed up. They put all this time and attention and resources and it was a bust. But really take notes and find out and then ask, what were the results of what you've tried so far? And then it's really, really important to look at what are the obstacles. Oh my gosh, one of my star leaders, is out of the game for a while. And that has an impact. So it's really important to understand what is going on and what's in the way of them. Now is the time to really take a look. Is that goal that you set for yourself in the G section on the SMART goal, is it still realistic? I don't answer it for them. I have them explain their current reality. Because some people say, I want to make X amount of dollars a month, or I want to get to this rank, or whatever it may be. And then when you honestly ask that after they've given the current reality, they'll know. They will know. Like, no, that really isn't realistic. So then guess what you get to do? A new goal. And again, it's really important because we want people. It's really, I've had people have a goal of being a certain rank over and over and over again, and it wasn't getting there. So, it's obvious to me, it may not be to them, that we need to reset that goal because when people set a goal and they don't make it over and over and over again, it's very deflating. We want people to feel empowered and supported and energized by this process, not deflated. Oh, I did it, didn't do it again. I hope you're understanding what I'm saying on that one. So that's the explore reality. Now we get to the fun part, and this is where you can pull out your magic wand and anything's possible. There's no limits. And you say, what are some ideas of things that can help you move towards that goal? And it could be, I remember speaking with someone that's probably on this call is like, I got to get out of the house. I'm just sitting home doing stuff online, whatever. Some people are building online very successfully, and that's fine, but some people just need to get out and meet the people. And Beamy did this fabulous training on Saturday on, prospecting, the prospecting playground, and getting out, and you never know when it's going to happen. You never know when you're going to run across someone like, that's the kind of person I want in my business. We met a bell captain. I went, I love his energy. I'd love to have him in our business, and then we take that conversation. So, what are some ideas that can help you get more of what you're looking for and reach that goal? And then this is a great next question. If you were watching this conversation, what might you recommend? So, To me, one of the most powerful tools I have ever come across is the power of effective questions, forward focus, effective questions. And when we ask a question, I've been on the journey of personal development for many, many, many decades, like 5 decades, I think. And, the most powerful tool to me is the questions that I ask and live in for myself. Einstein started asking questions that were about the theory of relativity when he was 4 years old, you know, and we all have the wisdom inside of ourselves. So when we live in questions, it percolates, and things come up. So paying attention and asking those questions, and what else? Is there anything else, you'd like to do? And so just have this be fun and lift up all the limits. And then after they've spoken for a while, then it's time to say, would you like some suggestions from me? And again, I'm writing notes as I'm going through this session and I'm coming up with ideas. I don't bring them up until now. But it's always good to ask permission to see if they want ideas from you. And then it's time to say, okay, which of these ideas interest you enough to explore further? Because we may come up with all kinds of things that, nah, I don't want to do that. Oh, that sounds great. I'm excited to do that. And that sounds like fun. And so there's where these questions really take you on this journey. And then this last one, if you were to do this, how might you go about it? So you're moving people forward into their action orientation. And then we get to the way forward. This is the time when people say, okay, I'm willing to do this, 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 and this. That was a great idea. Don't want to do that one right now. But really take a look. Which of these options interests you enough to take action? Because we always want to have this be, Gregory says our job in our business is to get them in, keep them in, and move them along. Well, guess what this is about? This is the moving them along phase. So this is where people put in their what they're willing to commit to do, and how are you going to go about it? And then again, what might get in the way? Oh my gosh, my kids are home from school this summer and, I've got all this blah, blah, blah. You'll hear all kinds of stuff. But then it's like, how are you going to overcome that? And then what and when is the next step? So writing the notes is really, really powerful. And this is just a wonderful journey. And again, what happens many times is we'll start out with a goal and we may end up with options or reality or even a way forward. But consistently go back and make sure that you have content for each one of these acronyms from GROW. So, anything else you want to share,
Yeah,
honey?
this is, as Robin said, when I saw this, I just went, oh my God, this is the perfect coaching model for network marketing. Because one of my awakenings when I got in this profession is it's not about management, it's about leadership, it's about coaching. And as Covey likes to say, you manage things, you lead people. And I didn't know the first thing about coaching. Okay, so I had to study it and become a good coach. And I was studying it over the years, but when I saw this, it just clicked. So, when we're doing a growth session with somebody, I don't send them this form until they're ready to start doing a growth session with one of their people. So they don't need to know you're reading from a document or you're going for the flow. But just like Robin did, you can explain what a grow is. Okay, we're going to do a grow session. It's probably going to take about 40, 45 minutes or so. Are you good on time? Make sure their time is good. And to say, okay, initially, I just wanted to talk about your goals for your business. We're going to look briefly at your back office, then kind of look at our current reality. And from that, we'll come up with some options. And then, together, get some focus on which ones you want to run forward with to get to, where you want to go by next month.
Now, I want to reiterate what I said in the beginning because sometimes our tendency is to want people to be where we want them to be and not necessarily where they choose to be.
That's what managers do.
Well, I wouldn't exactly go that way.
But that's the fault. Managers want their employees to do what they need to have done.
Yeah. And this is a relationship
Mm,
business. And while you're taking the time to go through this with people, we are developing a relationship and we're getting to know people and we're going into their back office with them. I'm not going to get into too much detail, but when I get into the Explore reality and I
mhm,
open up their back office with them, we take a look at, if they're new after they've done their business
mhm,
planning, like Gregory said, this comes after that. Then we take a look, do they have someone qualified on the left? Let's see,
mhm,
left side and right side. We're
mhm.
we're we're changing our language. In the binary, we have sides, and then we have legs of our sponsorship legs. So we want to take a look. We want to take a look at their volumes, and as we're stepping into our enhancements in the compensation plan, we have some other things we can be looking at to support them. So we're not going to get into those details today,
Mhm,
but the reminder is to control yourself, because if you have someone that they have tremendous potential and they're not living it, you can keep holding that potential, but this is all about them
mhm.
and where they want to go, not where we need them, want them, where we know they can go. Yeah.
And just say, as Robin said, I do it my own way because I've done it so many times. I take out a white sheet of paper, I draw, and GROW, and I just write the notes in and I date it and I put it in a file folder for the next. And at the end of this meeting, the old adage, never end one meeting without scheduling next, never end one grow session without scheduling the next about 30 days. This is kind of a 30-day process. So, and I typically don't bring up the back office. Robin does. She's the back office queen. I'm not. I'm more intuitive. I won't say I'm more intuitive, but I rely on my intuition more. So I just kind of go with the flow, but really excited to share this with you. And any final comments before
No, I
we
think we covered what I wanted to cover today.